Hey everybody, it's me, Cheezwiz. You may know me from amazing things such as Time is Money, a Spampton antenna swap, or Your Way, a fan-made Ram boss theme, or Crackers. I'm going to be answering some of your amazing questions from you guys. That's right, you, my audience. Without further ado, let's get on to the Q&A. User TanLeak767 asks, what inspired you to create music? I don't know, I guess it all starts in elementary school. I started doing choir, believe it or not. And over the course of elementary school, middle school, and high school, I learned music theory and classical music. And as I got older and I started developing a music taste, I started getting much more into music in general. The Beatles, Electric Light Orchestra, Fleetwood Mac. I always liked how all their songs sounded like a story was being told. They had personality. And then I discovered something that would change my perspective on music forever. This thing. Never had I really focused on music in a video game until I'd played through Undertale. In fact, I was so infatuated with the soundtrack that I listened to the OST before I actually played the game. Obviously, Toby Fox is a mastermind when it comes to tracks, but it wasn't until Deltarune came out that I was like, wait, I can do that. So I started remixing Deltarune songs. This is probably just after Chapter 2 released. I think the first one I ever remixed was, drumroll please, Birdly. It was a one-for-one MIDI copy with clarinets and oboes replacing the melody and bass. It was a masterpiece. Anyways, it wasn't until recently that I actually started posting. My little brother had talked about posting, and I had some people online say that I should put it on YouTube. The support for Big Shot led me to make more content, so thanks for the people who have been around since Big Shot. Ulster Ahoy asks, who's your favorite Deltarune character and why? So when Chapter 2 came out, as basic an answer as this is, it was Spampton. When my brother and I would play, I would always do the Spampton voice because I could make myself sound like a salesman. Maybe you'll get a voice demo one day, I don't know. But when Chapter 3 and 4 came out, look at this cool friggin' turtle, he's like a Master Oogway looking ass.
Yes, I'm not more teachers, he's the mentor, and it's so good, it's like a student slowly matching the teachers.
Yeah, I don't know, Newbert probably. Alex Pivo asks, do you have a Discord server? Wow, that's crazy you asked that. I do in fact have a Discord server that you can find access to in the description of this video and all other videos that come in the future. Wow. You can send your own music, you can talk Deltarune, you can send cool art, you can send your fan art of my swap guys if you want. You can join and then immediately leave if you want. I don't know why you would do that. EJ, the artist, asks, what programs do you use to make your videos? Some of you guys are going to be angry. Some of you guys are going to be very angry. I am a cheapskate college student. I use GarageBand for music with the SoundFont Pro plugin, and I use CapCut or DaVinci Resolve for video editing. If you're getting into music and you don't want to pay a ton of money, I highly recommend GarageBand. Yes, some of its stuff is limited, but if you get really good at it, you can make music that's almost FL Studio quality. I've said my piece. If you disagree with that, feel free to leave a comment and I'll put in the time and effort to reading your comment and then deleting it because you're bad. Iced Coral asks, what inspired your Spampton antenna swap designs? First off, I'm so glad you guys liked these characters. Both songs had such amazing reception and I think it's so cool. I've had people ask if I plan on doing a fan game, and if I was actually smart enough to make one, I'd probably do it, but I don't have the expertise required to do that. For now, I'm focused on world building and character designs. Anyway, my designs. I wanted to try to swap their stories and designs without really swapping the characters in general. First of all, Spampton antenna are the only people swapped in this swap. Everyone else is the same. The only difference between regular Deltarune and this swap would be the secret boss of Chapter 2 and the antagonist of Chapter 3. With Tenna, I wanted to make it look like he had been tossed around a little. Spampton looks like a small, homeless gremlin, so I wanted to make Tenna look like he got the crap beat out of him. So I did the cracked screen, the eye, the loss of the arm, the pink and the gold antennae. Most of you know that original design was that really cruddy sprite work of the so aptly named Withered Tenna design. Well, in short, it just wasn't good, and it didn't really lean into the creepiness aspect of him. So as I went on, I tried to develop him more towards that porcelain doll top design with the sewed-on arms and the weird cracked face and the eye. The eye is one of my favorite features. Originally, Tenna X was supposed to have many spider-like eyes in the dark part of the screen there. Speaking of Tenna X, when I was making his design, I obviously wanted to go for Metaton X's design because Spamton had already taken the Neo design, and I didn't feel like that fit Tenna. Tenna, at his core, is a showman, so I figured the X body would fit him more than the Neo body would, because the Neo body is more an all-powerful type super suit. I did want to stick with the stitched-on parts, though, the little green stitched-on parts that work like the strings in the Spamton Neo fight. I imagine that as you fight him, he'd slowly start like wiggling and dancing, and his arms and legs would fall off, kind of like the Metaton X fight. But yeah, that should about cover it. Nobody else. Just Tenna.
Big Boss Spamton.
My personal favorite of the two, Big Boss Spamton, is the embodiment of everything the pre-Chapter 3 fandom thought Tenna was going to be. He's large, he's greedy, he's sleazy, and he is not a redeemable villain. I really wanted this Spamton to kind of embody 2011 era YouTube, like not old enough to be, out of touch and obsolete, but old enough to be like, that isn't cool anymore. But he still thinks he's cool. As for his design, I wanted him to be big. I wanted him to look like a damn Pizza Tower character. Anyways, I wanted him to be this character that acts really cool on camera and really hip and really awesome and sells all this merch. But in reality, off camera, he's actually a greedy, scummy millionaire that would sell crappy merch and products to kids. Not naming any names or anything, but there's definitely some real life inspiration there. Anyways, one of the questions I've gotten the most, why is he big? Why does he look like he just ate a brick wall? Because this version of Spamton, like the commenter said, is directly perpendicular to Tenna. Literally, Tenna's tall, so Spamton's wide. This guy's at the top of his game. He can do whatever he wants, and it isn't until those meddling lightnings come along and expose him on his own show that things start going downhill. The final fight would totally involve spinning the wheel to try to deplete the boss of all of his chromer. At the end, I imagine he winds up giving up Toriel and tries to escape because he's a coward, but he is swiftly stopped by the knight. And rather than get his arms chopped off, I decided it might be really funny if he gets decapitated. Don't worry though, guys, if you recruit everybody, they'll just kind of screw his head back on, and he'll just be thrown in jail with King, where he would be bullied for the rest of the remaining chapters. This one's kind of a two-parter, but Pixelated Brain 3494 and the Collectinator ask, what's your favorite type of cheese and why Cheezwiz? For the first question, it's a silly thing putting cheese at the end of a remix. I always just thought that was hilarious, so I made my thing Cheezwiz. It was originally going to be Cheezwizard, but I just kind of decided to shorten it, and it kind of rolled off the tongue better. As for the second, Pepperjack. Tenix Roblox asks, will you release your music on Spotify in the future? I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll do that. I've got stuff on YouTube and SoundCloud. For now, you can watch it there. I might put it there, maybe. I plan on doing more remixes in the future, more fan-made content, more swap stuff, so stay tuned. In fact, here's a sneak peek. Azalea Music 1240, great creator by the way, go check out their stuff, says, what shows and movies do you like? Yeah, my favorite show is Annoying Orange, and my favorite... I don't know, I think my favorite show is probably Better Call Saul, and then, I don't know, I watched all of a great show on Netflix called Band of Brothers, and it's about World War II, and it's really cool. As for my favorite movie, I really, really like Goodfellas, and I know that's basic, but it's such a good movie. Well, that's it, I think. I think that's all for now. I appreciate you sticking around. If you haven't already considered subscribing, you should do that. I don't actually know if you'll hear my voice again on this channel. Watch more music. Bye-bye.